Fantasy 14 by Call Evyx. Gearing is pointless in Final Fantasy 14. Is that Paytas or whatever her name is, bro? I don't know how people find her attractive. Look at her. Oh, God. Ugh. Oh, people are weird, man. People are weird. Anyways, yeah. Gearing is pointless, Final Fantasy 14. How much you care about right now? Okay.
Gearing is absolutely pointless in Final Fantasy 14. That's not clickbait, that's not a shocking one-liner, or shouldn't be, but we're back.
I mean, you are not completely wrong. I would say best in slotting, well, best in slotting is pointless. Gearing itself is not.
At the point with the patch cycle, a ton of people have been talking about it with me in Discord, and I've gone a bunch
I'll have to up his volume.
Going through where a lot of people are like, well, what's up with this? And so I figured, let's talk about it more largely. Quick 30-second thought experiment. Show them these items like this beautiful Genji Codex from Stormblood. I wonder if it's going to ask for healing. This amazing Diamond Codex from Stormblood. Or what about all of this healer gear from Shadowbringers raids?
Yeah.
How impressed are you by them? And be honest, if your answer is you don't care, or you have no idea where these things came from, especially the Genji and the Diamond books, congratulations, you are a part of 99.9% of people who just don't give a shit. And that's an important thing to establish out the gate for this sort of video. Each of these was in their time best in slot. Keep your reaction of...
Yeah, but that was... The question is if they knew if... What? Obviously in Endwalker, if you don't know about certain gear from Shadowbringers, like, that has nothing to do with anything. What? Is gear, like, is it saying gearing is pointless throughout while leveling? Yeah, obviously it's pointless throughout leveling. What is he saying?
Those items in the
I'm so confused.
Go through this video. In about a month or so, we're gonna get patch 6.2, which means that there's gonna be a brand new raid tier with a ton of new gear set types. Crafted gear without any melds will outperform current best in slot gear just by the nature of main stats being overwhelmingly more valuable.
Yeah. That's like every MMORPG with where you have item level. Like that's the vertical progression of Final Fantasy. Your gear will be relevant once the next patch hits and the new content hits. Yeah, obviously. It's usually how it is. Heck, most of your gear was irrelevant when the Elite raids came out, because that was catch-up gear for the Savage raid. Not that to say that had better gear than Savage, but it's like it was breaching the gap, right? So, okay.
Really, the best indicator of what we will see is from Shadowbringers raid tier numbers, and so let's lay the cards out on the table. We know that our current best in slot item level of 600 with a 605 main hand matches most closely with Eden's Verse, the second raid tier from 5.2, with item level 500 baseline with a 505 main hand. Quite directly, it's 100 lower item level points than what we have today. So 6.2, we will see best in slot follow the Eden's Promise raid tier from patch 5.4, which was 30 item levels higher than our current best in slot, with item level 530 being their baseline with a 535 main hand.
Yeah,
now let's extend
it's kind of how it works.
What item level will replace our current best in slot level when 6.2 hits. For crafted gear specifically, following that idea, we're going to be looking at crafted gear being launched on 6.2, being 10 item levels above our current best in slot item level. I just say that because Eden's Promise crafted gear was item level 510, so we're looking at 610 item level there. Obviously, a 10 item level dump, like I said earlier, is going to make current best in slot irrelevant on arrival. That is a pretty serious leap. Like, these new lists I love...
No, it's not. I mean, again, coming from a World of Warcraft perspective, that's normal, right? It's like Mythic raid tier in Castle Nathria usually is equal to Heroic gear from the next raid. But then once you do... As soon as you do the Mythic raid, like, you're like... Even, like, any item that is a higher item level is going to be substantially better. Like, it's 15 item level boost, like... Just the main stats are just gonna be that big. So I don't know, like, is he complaining about the same thing that WoW players are complaining? That's like, your gear is irrelevant because when next patch comes out, all that stuff. The thing is with WoW, the gear, I hate defending WoW. The gear relevance in WoW for the patch is not as big of a deal because that gear allows you to, well, at least up to Shadowbringers, up to Shadowlands. In Dragonflight, this won't be the case, but in Shadowlands, it allowed you to PvP better, allowed you to Mythic Plus better, and stuff like that. Clear, like do world quests better, like faster and shit like that. Whereas in Final Fantasy, you really don't really have much to do with your gear in terms of like challenging yourself. PvP is you can go in naked, just a weapon, and you'll have the same stats as everyone else, so it doesn't matter. PvE is a joke, right? It's like the dungeons and stuff is like it's not hard. So the problem with the vertical progression in Final Fantasies, you don't really have anywhere to use that, right? So it's like right now the problem is it's like Final Fantasy fights are supposed to be just enjoyable because the gear really doesn't play any significance. You can do them without the gear from the raid, so you're literally doing the raid for the fun of the raid. And if you don't find the raid fun, there's plenty of other activities. There's nothing to do with the gear you get from the raids, right? So it's like, unless you just want to be, you know, maxing out for no reason, good for you, right? But it's like it doesn't really benefit you anywhere else in the game aside from doing the raid faster next week, right? So yeah, I would agree that's like our gearing is pointless in that regard, but it's true for any vertical MMO, any vertical progression. The only one this is not true in is ESO, where the gear are always the same item level. So, and you can upgrade like a normal piece to a rare, to a unique and all that stuff, right? So it's kind of different. And like you just mix and match sets, right? I wish ESO fixed its server problems and kind of make a better UI so you don't have to use all these add-ons just to keep track of your gear. But yeah, I mean, yeah, gearing is pointless. If you think about the way he's thinking about it, then yeah, gearing is pointless, yeah.
Trash. This body piece I rolled on wanting so badly months ago. Trash.
Yeah.
It is.
Trash.
Like, first of all, this.
No, stop it! Oh my god!
In conclusion, this really leads me to the main message that I said at the start of this video.
But it is.
Gearing in Final Fantasy XIV is pointless. There are very minor caveats that I'm going to go through real quick, though. The first one is going to be obvious. If you like the glamour, like, I love these lightsaber new lists, and I plan to use them for a long time unless somehow something tops them. And right now, peace and love, nothing does, so glamour is a big reason to be inspired to get something. Glamour is forever. Item levels may fade, but glamour is forever. Now the second one is a double-edged sword. To get these new lists, you need to clear the raid tier, which by definition means that you needed to be able to clear the raid tier without having them. I know that that is like super obvious to a lot of people, but it is also not very obvious to a lot of people that I talk to. It's like, wait, to get these I need to clear the tier, but to clear the tier I needed to have, like, I couldn't have had them, like.
Yeah, but you don't need the, like, I don't see what the confusing part is. Yeah, you don't need the gear to, like, this is true for everything though. Like, what? This is why I don't really watch his videos too much, because it's like, it starts like bothering me, like these very weird, obvious things that he says, which are like, he's saying like as if they're not obvious. Yes, no one thinks that in order to get the best in slot weapon, you need to kill the boss, but in order to kill the boss, you need the best slot weapon. No one thinks this. This is true for everything. Mythic Jailer did not die while everyone had a Mythic Jailer weapon or whatever. They got them, they got gear and killed Mythic Jailer, and then they got the weapon. Yeah. It's like, this is why ultimates don't have gear on assigned to them. They have just transmogs, because they are the ultimate challenge. You do not need gear from them. The gear you need for them, you can obtain somewhere else. From them, you just get mogs. I don't think Savage is like the ultimate challenge for people to the point where like this gear is gonna be the make or break, right?
For some people, that is actually shocking. So really, when we're talking about best in slot and all of these fancy, nice add-ons, they're just really icing on the cake. They're the gravy on the side. They're the equivalent of what, how to say it? Would you like fries with that? They're the side on the side of the meal. They're not the actual meat and potatoes here. I will give them, though, is that they make re-clearing the tier easier. They make helping like friends through the tier easier. But you couldn't have had them to clear the tier. Now, the one thing gearing is factually great for is it is really great for being able to gear up and tackle ultimate level content, which, quick reality check here, is specifically on content when you're really caring about this. Otherwise, we're really looking at the relic weapons to really boost up what people are doing. People were doing that all the time with the Epic of Alexandria, actually. So we're talking specifically on content in that particular best in slot patch cycle, ultimate raid content, which as statistics show, factually is like 1% of players, if even actually, because you're not stupid, I'm not stupid, and we know that these numbers are factually going to be inflated from sellers in the ultimate raid community, and that's no malice intended. Get your money. Honestly, get your money. But I'm personally not going to have any party with that because the TOS scares the shit out of me. But cells and piloted crews
because
are
it's
totally
like,
a number.
I'm not going to have part of it, not because of TOS, because it's not worth it. It's like, why would you pay for that? It's like you didn't work for it kind of thing, you know?
Inflator here is really what I'm trying to get at there. But even with those inflated numbers, overwhelmingly, most people, the incredible mass majority of people, will never even attempt an ultimate, let alone even unlock ultimates, let alone even clear it, let alone clear it on cycle. Which is really the expanded and pinned down way of me saying before, gearing in 14 is totally irrelevant for the overwhelming majority of players. Even
this is true for WoW too, though. That's why majority of people, a vast majority, don't do Mythic raid content. That's why most people do not do Mythic plus 15s, even though I don't think it's like, I think everyone should be able to do a Mythic plus 15, but yeah, I'm pretty sure even majority of people don't even do heroic raid. So yeah, I mean, it's normal. Like, yeah, majority of people who play are not hardcore enough. They just like, they're casuals, right?
For those who do actively engage in Savage. Now this lands us at an interesting talking point. Why do people care about best in slot? Now this is something that can go to human.
Because they're better than you. That's pretty much it. The thing is, like, going based on his logic, why do people care about how cool their home looks in Final Fantasy? Why do people care about, you know, their home, having a home in Final Fantasy? Why do people care about like anything really in a video game? I mean, it's not even real. It's like, what kind of an empty argument is this? People care about best in slot because they get to do bigger numbers, because then they get to parse higher numbers, and that's pretty much it. They want to be a best in slot Andy. They want to do the most damage. They want to go into a random dungeon for the max level and just demolish everything, compared to like the other DPS. So the other DPS will admire them. It's like, holy shit, how do you do that? Pretty much, though, like there's no other reason other than like my dick is bigger.
Motivation, which has been a topic of many actual PhD theses and research publications. I don't dare scratch.
You don't need to be a PhD to talk about motivation.
From most people I've spoken to, it falls into a handful of categories largely. I'm gonna boil those down to like two kind of categories here. First one is gonna be healthy. People want to be as strong as they can be currently in the game and are wanting to like push numbers sometimes, or like help friends, which I think is honestly great and fine. That's healthy.
Sure.
That's a healthy outlook. Long as you look at it in that healthy way, why not? Help friends clear with more stats to help spread the joy of raiding, and that's fantastic. The second reason, however, is significantly more insidious. It is people who just do it because they want to keep up with the Kardashians, not even because they enjoy raiding, not because they...
Why is it insidious, though? Like, because they want to show off? What?
like the people that they're raiding with, not because they even care about it. It's just another thing for them to have a checkbox on and to attempt to use to show power or something on an aspect of control or...
No, like, it's not an aspect of control and dominance when you just tell people, like, listen, I am better than you at this game, so you don't have anything to say to me. Anything you say is false because I am right, you are wrong, because I have a bigger gear score, because I knew what I was doing and I got this gear like faster than you, so yeah, I am better. That's all it is. It's not an aspect of control or dominance. Maybe a bit dominance, but it's not an aspect of control. You're not controlling the person, just telling them that they're shit. It's an ego thing. I don't think it's insidious, but I am part of the lateral, the second group, so I'm biased.
Dominance, which, yeah, as most people probably did, they probably cringed at that. Trust me, I do. But that's what talking to people is really influencing.
I knew he would cringe to that because of his point of view on parses and how much he hates parses. I really think Cole is probably a very, very fragile snowflake. I am pretty sure. That being said, it doesn't mean he's a bad person. He's probably a nice person, all that stuff. But I am pretty sure he can lose sleep over... Let's say he goes into, like, he joins a new raid group, and, like, everyone seems nice and whatever, and then at the end of the raid, someone says, like, that they saved the parses, and everyone's like, oh, okay, great, let me know later. And Cole would probably have nightmares and not able to sleep at night over the fact that he joined a raid group with parsers. Damn. Imagine. But either way, it's like... Yeah, it isn't extrinsic. Yeah. I would say most stuff you do endgame are extrinsic. Yeah. I don't remember last time I got intrinsic motivation in an online game. Only extrinsic. Pretty much.
It is, however, interestingly enough, really less about intrinsic motivations. They're not really doing it for themselves and more about the extrinsic motivations. It's not about the, oh wow, I cleared the raid tier with people I enjoy, playing a role that...
No. It's, oh wow, it finally died because Johnny stopped fucking up. You know? It's like, look what happens when Johnny stops fucking up. We killed the fucking raid boss. Yeah, I'm excited. That's what it feels like.
And raid mechanics are so cool, I love you all. It's more about, how do I get past the slot as fast as I can so that I have exclusivity, which is obviously never going to be a thing in this kind of game with the gear structure, so that I can AFK on my catgirl and Limsa in hopes that I can make people drool over my pixels and dominate them passively.
You don't dominate them. Them looking up to doesn't mean you're dominating them. Like what? Why dominate them passively? Why do people go to Limsa looking all cool and shit? Why are there bards in Limsa? Think they're trying to make friends? Some people to look at them, bro. Yeah, people do this all the time. This is the normal way of life. People want attention from other people. We're social beings. It's not a bad thing. Stop making it sound so bad. You're not dominating anyone passively because you have a higher item level. You're dominating them actively when they suck in your raid and you tell them that they suck. Then you're dominating over them.
Something crazy. But remember that quick thought experiment at the start of this video. The Genji Codex, the Diamond Codex, the other best in slot gear, yeah, that wasn't impressive to you or 99% of viewers, even if you did recognize the name, which I guarantee you most of you probably really...
It would actually be impressive if I understand what he's referring to. If you got the new best, like the new highest item level weapon on week 1 and you're walking around it in places, people will look. People will inspect you. Yeah, it is impressive. If you killed, honestly, even now, if you killed the new ultimate, people will inspect you and look at the weapons. But if you did it on the first, like one of the first people to do it, people would literally would follow you around just to check you out. Like, this is what it is. Is it important that it's best in slot right now but won't be? I mean, based on this thinking, why even raid, bro? Why even get any gear? Why even play the game? Next expansion, everything you did is irrelevant. Why go through the MSQ? You can just watch it in a YouTube video and, it'll pass. It's irrelevant.
The fact is the Gear Treadmill kept moving and moving year after year.
Yeah, it will move.
When I was younger in high school playing games a few years ago, I literally never really cared about it. So I can't really say it's because of age. It's not because I'm suddenly an old man. It's because I genuinely cannot think of a more futile treadmill of trying to punish yourself doing something that you don't even enjoy for the point of...
Okay, look. First of all, you're assuming that they don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it to the extent that you enjoy it. You probably have a nerdgasm whenever you kill a savage boss. I'm like, it's finally over. Can I get my gear? But, that being said, I would say most people who do it even only for the gear still enjoy the raid and the progress. The gear is like that, the sugar on top, like the icing on top, it's like, it's that nice little feeling at the end, and not only did you kill the boss, you also got loot. It doesn't mean that they hate it. Right now, I'm not raiding Savage because I find it too much of a hassle to find a proper group for it, and the gear is not that important because there's nothing to do with the gear, right? I have absolutely nothing to do with a 600 item level gear or 605. I don't know what the max is right now, but it's there's nothing for me to do with this gear. Also, if I want to gear up my samurai and my warrior and my sage at the same time, it's not going to happen. Because weekly resets, right? Weekly locks, which I really hate. I wish you could get a weekly lock separately per job. I think that would be fantastic. But I honestly don't think he understands the people who love gear and who love doing bigger numbers. I really don't think he understands. And to prove this point, he called the people who are like that they have insidious designs, right? It's they're insidious. It's an insidious thing. It's why? Why is it insidious? Their goal is just as important as your goal. Your goal is to have fun with friends. Their goal is to kill shit and have the highest item level gear. Both of them are irrelevant. Both of them are just pixels, right?
Gear. Usually these people are the ones losing their minds over minor mistakes who don't actually enjoy the experience, and for them it's all about the prestige. Well,
the reason people lose their minds over the dumbest mistakes is because it's not that it was a mistake here and there. It's the same person making the same fucking mistake, and he's not understanding the mechanic, and you have to deal with it. I do not know what kind of a masochist you are to enjoy redoing the same progress from 100% to 60% HP on the boss, because every time you get to 60%, every time the same mechanic, every time the same person does not understand the mechanic and dies, which then ruins the whole run. Right? How is that fun for you? Not everyone's a masochist, okay? Some people want to actually get the boss down. Some people would start telling the person to get better, to get good, because they don't want to be with a person who is not catching up to their level. Why do people need to feel like they're carrying people, right? Imagine you understand the boss mechanic on like the second try. Like, you know, you see a mechanic, you got it. Like, you made the mistake, fine, but you're not gonna make it again because you understand the mechanic. You know the timing now, right? You move on from that, you go to the next mechanic, you see it, boom, okay, I get it. So we do this and then we do that. Boom, third mechanic. Okay, so we do this, right? It's like, and you understand, you start understanding the dance. Okay, after this amount of mechanics, it all resets again. We're doing the same dance over and over. Okay? Meanwhile, Teddy over there, after wipe 100, still didn't get the message that after mechanic number 3 comes mechanic number 4, and after mechanic number 4 comes mechanic number 5, and when after mechanic number 5 is over, we start over with mechanic number 1. He's still waiting for mechanic number 6 for some reason, because Teddy is not on the same level as everyone else, like cognitively, okay? Like, he's not on the same speed as everyone else. Everyone's getting the mechanics, understanding them, and moving on. This guy's still stuck in phase 1. Yeah, that's not fun. It's not fun being with a player like that. If you are better than that player substantially, you don't want to be with that player, and that's fine. But you should kick him, obviously. But to go through it because, oh well, this boss is fun. I am enjoying wiping at 60% every time. Maybe we'll get to 59%. Like, we'll just do a bit more damage before the mechanic hits, and we all die. So dumb.
Well, Cole, that Diamond and Genji Codex that you brought out, sure, knocked us out of the park. It shocked us. Boots down, the house down, sister. Yes, work God. Sissy Queen, work that runway. Yeah, fucking no one said that. Like, I've been playing this game for a very, very long time, and this channel is relatively new in my time playing, and it's been like 2 years out of a decade of playing. I have seen content creators come and go. I've been in so many raid groups with people who I've never seen again. I've gone lost.
Yes.
Gotten and then lost best in slot so many times. Yeah, for the overwhelming majority of players, best in slot Gear Treadmill, it's pointless.
It is.
Why should you raid? Well, that's because you raid and you enjoy it and you...
No. You cannot tell people why they raid. You enjoy the raid. You enjoy the progress. Some people just enjoy that little dopamine hit of getting better gear. Is it pointless in 3 or 4 months? Yes. So what? All of Endwalker is gonna be pointless in 2 years. The car that you buy that is brand new is gonna be old at some point. So don't buy a new car. Like... No, like, you enjoy the raid for what you enjoy the raid for, and people will enjoy the gear because they enjoy the gear. Just because you don't like gearing. And again, I agree, gearing is pointless, but the feeling you get from progressing on the boss, that's the feeling people get from getting the gear. I don't think he understands that connection. Right? For me, it's pointless to enjoy this boss. It's pointless to waste 3 hours on a boss you probably could have killed in the first 20 minutes because Teddy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I find that to be pointless.
You want the experience if you love the people. Because if you don't, I can't think of a dumber way to waste your time. Plus, standing in Limsa showing off pixels to a bunch of people who probably don't...
I agree, showing off, like, going to Limsa. But again, I find having a house in Final Fantasy a waste of time. I still have an apartment that I decorated for shits and giggles because I enjoyed it. Yeah, standing in Limsa, bro. When I got my bard high enough and I got the music thing, that's all I did. I literally went to Limsa, and every time I would go somewhere, I would go to Limsa and AFK play, what's it called? Play some music on my bard, yeah. Just, and like, I would come back and I would have like some whispers from people and shit like that. It was cool, yeah, it was nice, you know, you get attention. Is it pointless? Yes, it is pointless. I don't even remember the names of those people. I never talked to them again. But it was cool. Same as like getting the gear. Getting the gear, it's cool. That's all it is. It's cool. Doing the boss for the first time, killing the boss for the first time, yeah, it's cool. Wiping him off on the same boss after 3 weeks of prog, not cool, not fun. To each his own. I honestly find progressing on bosses through phases that you already understood to be pointless too. Because where's the fun in that? You already understood the mechanic, but your group still keeps dying to it.
Even know what you're wearing is mid.
I feel like me and Cole disagree on, like, we agree on stuff for completely the wrong reasons, and we disagree for all the right reasons. You know, it's kind of like me and him definitely will not get along in real life. But it's fun watching his videos because it's nice to see other perspectives. I just don't think that I find people who enjoy raiding for the sake of raiding to be weird. Straight up, I do. It's like, it's people who have no value for their time, and this comes from somebody who has been playing video games for most of my life, and I clearly don't value my time, and I still feel like they don't value their time even more. Because they enjoy the wipes. They enjoy hanging out with people who bring them down. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see ya in the next one.